What are the best guns in Battlefield 5 in 2024? Yep, I'm still making Battlefield videos and streams somehow. If that sounds good to you, there's a subscribe button somewhere. Hit it and see how much cooler you get. So here come my selections for what I currently like in Battlefield 5. Which means you also need to tell me what your best selections are, because everyone is different when it comes to how we like to shoot people in World War II. I'm on console also, so especially let me know how it's different on PC. Assault class first, and yes, it's the STG-44. I just described this one as your standard issue video game assault rifle. If you want an automatic weapon that's versatile, so you can kind of just free ball however you want to play and it'll keep up, then the STG fits the bill perfectly. Sometimes slapping on that familiar feeling gun that is super similar to something you've used in countless other FPS games is just the way to go. You know what you're going to get out of it, and that is murder by shooting the enemy. Or death if you just don't shoot as well as the enemy, but let's just assume you're a super soldier. It makes it way more fun that way. Thanks for being here. I'm honoured to have such a high level player watching my video. So it's clearly not going to be the absolute best weapon anywhere really, but at close range you'll fairly often get the kill as long as you shoot first and you're accurate. Obviously losing out in evenly contested fights against high rate of fire SMGs and such like, but standing a very good chance against most enemy options. Mid-range, you're pretty golden a fair amount of the time, whereas at longer range, you're obviously not favoured against many semi-auto options, but you can still drop an enemy here and there if you're accurate. Now some of you will be placing bets on how long it will be before I call it a jack of all trades weapon, so there you go, your fun's over. Now you can instead focus on the fact that yes, I do record all of my footage on stream here on YouTube. Around 6 times a week actually, thanks for asking. How exciting! You should totally drop by at 2 PM UK time, which happens to be, just for your information, about 9 AM Eastern time or 1 AM in Eastern Australia. Now, if you're dissatisfied with my STG selection for Assault so far, have no fear. Just like in my BF1 video for my best guns uploaded last month, go and have a look, I shall give you 2 weapons per class, ultimate value for money, or value for time. And this one has been one of my go-to weapons for an extremely long time, the AGM/42. This is a pick that I see almost nobody use, which gives some of you a fantastic opportunity to tell me I'm wrong in the comments, which is great as it helps the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for that. But I truly find this to be an excellent gun. Extremely lethal in the right hands, but therefore a very acquired taste that won't appeal to the masses. It requires a very specific skill set and likely a solid amount of practice. But if you can nail it down, it's genuinely excellent. A semi-automatic weapon firing at 450 rounds per minute, which is equal to the M1A1 carbine, which does less damage by the way and is harder to control. So with those bonuses on board for the AGM/42, it's also therefore the equal fastest fire rate in the class for a weapon that is semi-automatic by default. It can also kill in 2 headshots, providing you with the optimal TTK of any assault semi-auto should you be accurate or lucky enough, and requiring 4 bullets to kill when landing on center mass, or the chest, out to 100 meters. Essentially, this is a fantastic weapon should you be able to be accurate whilst maintaining a fast fire rate, with repeated manual trigger pulls. If you can, you're going to do some serious damage. If not, then so be it. Not every gun is for every player, and that's okay. But give the gun a go if you haven't for a long time, just in case you connect with it. You might thank me later, or you could thank me now by hitting the like button. Speaking of thanks, I just quickly want to thank the producers of this video, the supporters on Patreon. I really appreciate it. If you want to join them, the link's in the description, and it only charges you when I upload a video. There's no standard monthly charge, so you are directly powering the production of video content on this channel. Thank you. Right, onto the medic class. How could it not be the Type 2A? Likely the most obvious pick on this list, and perhaps simultaneously the most popular and most hated. In case you've been living under a Battlefield 5 shaped rock, the Type 2A is DICE's answer to the Antichrist. It's their special move. Put in a gun that fires immensely quickly, isn't that hard to use, and has a load of ammo. Otherwise known as, give them a gun that almost anybody can use and get kills with so they'll be happy and keep playing the game even if the game isn't that good. Or something along those lines. With the extended magazine specialization, it has 51 rounds, while still firing at 1028 rounds per minute. It only needs 4 bullets to kill inside 10 meters, and it's just blatantly ridiculous. I don't think it's necessarily quite as overpowered as some obsessed fanatics believe it to be, but it's clearly overtuned and runs into the issue of invalidating some other weapons because it's just so overly good at what it does. You can use this if you're a really skilled player and really maximize what it's capable of, or you can throw it on if you're near totally new to FPS games and just hold down the trigger until the enemy has more holes in them than humans usually have. Low skill floor, high skill ceiling. Just a bit of a balancing mess, really. And so it had to feature again today. Let me know what you think of the Type 2A. Fun or a stain on the BF5 landscape? Anyway, we must cover another medic weapon, so I went for one that's like if you ask your parents to buy you a Type 2A and they say we have Type 2A at home. It's the M1928A1. I know, it's such a catchy name. Let's just call it the Tommy gun. And despite me opening by making fun of it, I genuinely do like this gun, and it can be very effective. It's less crazy than the Type 2A, but it's even easier to use in terms of recoil control, while still having a very respectable fire rate of 720 rounds per minute, or 900 if you use the light bolt specialization. Now, I'm a civilized individual, so I use extended magazine, because if I wanted to use an insane fire rate, I'd just use the Type 2A. With extended mag, you get 50 rounds and a hip fire god that's still perfectly effective when aiming down sight at the right kind of range. Also, you get to claim you aren't using the most hated gun in the game whenever some angry 13-year-old sends you a raging message because you killed him a few times. And sometimes moral victories are more important than video game round wins. But if you can do both, then that's a double win, worth calling a family member about, or a friend. Give it a go. They'll probably heap praise upon you, and that's a reason to use the Tommy gun, or something. Right, onto support, and I need to hurry this up because just like last month, we've reached the last day of the month for me to finish the video off, and I still need to try and stream today, maybe. I truly don't know where the time goes. So, it's the Lewis gun. Yawn, boring, I don't care. It's a good gun. It's one of the few guns in the class that I feel replicates what I usually think of support as being. With the class being chock full of MMGs that you generally play passively with, and then LMGs with tiny magazines, the Lewis gun stands atop the mountain with golden sun rays bouncing off it, as a support gun that can do both. Solid magazine size, decent damage output, the option for a suppression-based playstyle or somewhat running and gunning, all whilst actually being able to aim down sight. Yes, I'm a fan. And you can pretty much just make it do what you want. Would you like faster aiming for aggressive play? We can do that for you. Or perhaps a larger magazine to bump up the ammo count to 97 rounds per reload. Or maybe that makes it too unstable for you, so perhaps we could offer you the barrel bedding specialization. Or you like less recoil, yeah? There may be also recoil buffer as well. No? You want to lie down and be a slug for most of the round? Then we'll equip an improved bipod for you. See? It just becomes what you want. It feels highly more customizable than most other guns in the class because it starts off at base as being able to do a lot rather than being pigeonholed into one playstyle or set of limitations. We already all have our own limitations. We don't need more. Me personally, I have terrible eyesight, a lack of work-life balance, and a reliance upon professional success for me to feel accomplished and of value in any way, shape or form. Which is awkward because I have Battlefield for my content, which isn't exactly helpful. Anyway, how about you? Bet you didn't expect this to become a therapy session, but here we are. While you think about that, let's do support gun number 2, and this time it's totally at the other end of the spectrum. No similar selection this time around. It's the BAR M1918A2, or just the BAR because that's too much effort. This is a Slayer weapon, able to be set up for aiming down sight play or a focus upon hip firing while still having a bipod either way. A lot of weapons in the support class do about the same amount of damage per bullet, so the rate of fire becomes extra impactful and the BAR fires 720 rounds per minute, much like the Tommy gun I selected for medic earlier because of its lethality. This is truly a selection for support when you're focused upon getting into the action and dropping some bodies. But you only have 20 rounds per reload. This is not some easy spray and pray option this time. If it's going to work for you, you need to do a good job. Otherwise, you'll cut through that ammo in no time and the other player's just going to turn around and shoot you back, which will be a bit embarrassing. You need accuracy and trigger discipline, but it's worth it. You can alternatively go for the KE7, the LS26 or the FG42 for aggressive support play, but the BAR is my current choice. That extra difficulty requirement feels worth it for the lethality payoff, and no, I haven't selected an MMG anywhere because I don't want to. Okay, Recon class. Let's do the obvious one first, shall we? It's the ZH-29. This will probably be the second most hated gun on this list after the Type 2A, but how are you going to argue with a super accurate self-loading rifle that only needs 2 shots to kill? No headshot required. Sure, the sniper rifles can be flashy and one-shot headshots are nice, but the reliability of just dumping 2 bullets into someone's chest and then moving on is tough to turn down. I would imagine that pretty much everyone has been dumpstered by this gun many times over, although I do truly think it's more balanced than many realize. At least from my experience on console, perhaps it's a bit different with a mouse and keyboard and the extra accuracy. I don't know, you can let me know. But I truly feel like I'd see a whole lot more of this gun if it was actually that easy to use. You do need to be accurate, and you do only have 6 bullets to play with per reload. And up close you'll have to be quick when up against SMGs and stuff. So yeah, it can be extremely frustrating to play against, but only if the opponent is decent with it. Otherwise you just wipe them out without thinking about it, which likely feeds into some kind of confirmation bias. Regardless, getting a bit too highbrow for this stage of the video, so ZH-29 goes bang bang and enemy dead. They big mad, you big happy, gun is good when used good. Moving on, it's the trench carbine. I bet a lot of you didn't see this one coming, but I really like it. Again, running and gunning is kind of my thing, and I enjoy versatile play. So the option to run around and be aggressive as a recon is right up my alley. Now I only want to use the trench carbine with the selective fire trigger specialization because this lets you use it as a fully automatic. So you have 41 rounds, firing automatically at 360 rounds per minute, which you compare with the spotting flare and just go and hunt the enemy down. Plus you can still hit some decent range kills if you're accurate enough. I see surprisingly little of this gun, perhaps because aggressive or automatic weapon fans just generally go for other classes, but regardless, this one can do some damage if you use it well. You might just be surprised. You'll notice I therefore haven't selected an actual sniper rifle or bolt action rifle for Recon, and that's because I just find the requirement to get a headshot when using thumbsticks on a controller to be counterintuitive for efficient play when something like the ZH-29 exists. It's nothing personal, sniper rifles, you're cool and all that, you're just not for me in this game. I'd much rather slap on something like the trench carbine and get my steps in charging across these big ass maps. But of course, this is all subjective. Don't forget to throw your list of best guns in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, I love you very much. Like, subscribe, become a member, join the Discord, whatever you want. Patreon in the description for supporting the videos, and have a truly great day. See you next time, or on stream most days. Subscribe, you floppy dingus!